Am I on? I'm hopefully on. Okay, so hi. I haven't made a video in a while. I saw a comment that kind of piqued my interest, so I'll just babble about that. So the comment was, Todd, where do you think dating is going to be in the next 10 to 20 years? Technology and just how, in general, how life will be. Well, I think the big next step that's coming is the upcoming demographic cliff. That will be coming around 2025, 2026 is when it starts. This arose from the economic crash, the hard times that started around 2008, and that led to a decline in people having children. Around that really peaked like 2008 to like 2011. So thus, college age students they're gonna drastically decline from like 2026 to like 2030. And after that, then it kind of stagnated from like 2030 to like 2037. And then, of course, 2038 and like 2040, that's when it's going to be like full apocalypse shit coming. But that's a long ways away. But anyway, just about the upcoming demographic cliff and what I think will happen with that. You read some articles out there and there's just like doom and gloom and stuff. I don't think a whole hell of a lot is going to change because like the depopulation agenda is already in full bloom. The wonderful people in charge, add all the parentheses, they're so all in on depopulation. Why should shit change? I think the only thing that's really going to change with this upcoming demographic cliff is that it's not just going to be lunatics like me that like ran about, those people and, how the world is just over and everything's fucked. I think normal people are going to realize it because, first off, obviously, like college students, like that's going to drop drastically, and especially in my area here in the Northeast U.S. There's a ton of colleges here that I don't even know how they've been open for like the past decade. A lot of them are just going to have to close. Now, there's been previous times like this. You look back in, say, in the 1980s, post the boomers. Well, they stopped having kids later in the 60s. So there was a demographic cliff in the late 1980s. But any demographic cliff in like colleges and education, that didn't happen. Well, the difference was in the 1980s. Well, there was an untapped demographic, women. Thanks to second wave feminism, and then later third wave feminism, which just completely fucked over the world. So that was a quick fix to get the college numbers up. Get women, just tell girls they can do everything possible, and that fixed the college numbers and more. Well, that can't happen again. Obviously, what is it's like what 60% of college students are female. Well, that can't happen again. There's already been like every effort to get blacks and minorities and Latinos into schools. Really, the only untapped demographic right now is men to go to college. Well, I don't think that's really going to work. Back in the 80s, you could sell women like, oh, I want to wear a power suit and I want to be a super powerful woman and I want to make my own money and not have to rely on no man. Well, yeah, that was easy to sell to women. Well, what you have to sell to men is, I want a wife and kids and a family. And if they say that, no, patriarchy, wrong. Well, you can't sell that to men anymore. That's the big reason why men are dropping out. So, I really, all I think it's going to be happening with the upcoming demographic cliff is that a whole lot of colleges and, and universities are going to close. And the other thing is that, if people think it's starting to get bad now, that like, oh, all those young people, especially all those young boys, they're just afraid of a whole bunch of hard work. They got these jobs for $15 an hour. Back in my day, I walked 20 miles back and forth in the snow to make 20 cents an hour. Well, yeah, the money we're seeing, that's not really a selling point for young men, young anyone. Well, now, soon, there's just going to be no people for those jobs, period. And on top of that, you're going to have more men just giving up. So, I don't know. I just think the depopulation is going to continue and continue. And I just think a whole lot of businesses are going to close. And basically, everything is just going to go online. I mean, obviously, we already see that, with shopping online and Amazon and eBay. Like, that's replacing yours. I think like the brick and mortar stores are basically just going to be officially killed within like the next 5 years. Like they're just not even going to exist anymore. This is my theory. So what about beyond that? Well, he mentioned dating. Well, I mean, what do I think is going to happen there? Well, I've talked about that before. It's only going to get worse. I mean, as I said before in previous videos, we are still in a patriarchy. The world is still controlled by a bunch of out-of-touch old men. That is going to change. Okay, that there's no question of this. That is going to change. Women are going to get the majority of powerful positions. It's just going to take time for all the old men to finally die. Once that happens, women are going to be all the leaders. What's going to happen when that happens? Yeah, you think your world's going to get better, boys? I don't think so, sunshine. So, I mean, like, dating and, hoping for, a marriage and, a family, like, it's only going to get harder as time goes on. Like, how is it going to change? The only way the only possible way I think that can change is if there's a massive global war, because that's the only way that men can give value today. Like, there's nothing else. Everything else, I mean, like, it's just like, oh, well, women can do that better than men. Even if they can, it doesn't even matter anymore. We have to do something where it's like the power of men actually fucking matters. That's it. And if that doesn't happen, things are only going to get worse. I mean, with women in power, what are they going to do? They're just going to make things comfortable for themselves. And as technology grows, I mean, like, especially with dating, I think what the norm is going to eventually become is that, I mean, if you look at statistics, I mean, there's been a drastic rise in the majority of people that meet, like how they meet is they meet online. I mean, they may like have acquaintances in real life, but they meet like through Instagram or whatever apps there are now. That's how most people meet. I think, especially over the next 5 years or so, I think it's going to be completely the norm that relationships and hookups are all originated online. And why is that? Well, I mean, think what like women want. What is like the optimal situation for women in dating? Because that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what men think. It's what women want. What's the optimal situation? Women don't want to meet men in real life. They want to go online because, well, as we can see with online dating, like, women can get much more high quality guys. They can meet them online. So, yeah, I mean, for women, it's like, oh, well, I want to date the hottest guy in my class. I want to date the Chad in my class. Well, all they have to do is just go on some dating app, go on Instagram, and they'll probably, or a dating, or Tinder, or whatever, and there's probably going to be a guy as like hot as the hottest guy they know, like messaging them within a day. It's like, oh my god, I want to go fuck Chad, Brandon, Chad. And like, why would they want to change that? They should just want to accelerate that. And also, what do women always talk about? Women talk about safety. Well, I mean, they don't want to go out there and meet random dudes out in the world. They want to go just talk to some hot guy online, and like there's no risk. There's nothing. I mean, yeah, I mean, like, eventually you're going to have to meet, and maybe the guy, like, murders them, but if it's a hot guy, they're not going to care anyway. So, or if it's just some hot guy who beats the shit out of them, they'll probably make them wet. So, I mean, I think that's just inevitable. I think dating is going to go completely online, and that is just going to just give men no hope at all. Unless you're really, really attractive and you have like 600,000 friends. If you don't have both of those, you're pretty much fucked. You're fucked. As for technology, I mean, I've long been predicting that the internet is going to be completely government run. I'm surprised it really hasn't happened yet. Like the only way you can go online is if you have like facial recognition software, or like you have like your official ID. I mean, I guess the only reason that hasn't happened yet is because like Zoomers are basically retarded on the internet, and like probably nobody will go on here. I think that's an inevitability. Especially as I talk about with like what women want in dating, and like security measures. Well, I mean, I think it's inevitable. Like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to, like, in order to even to go online, you have to use facial recognition software. So again, like, you can't catfish. You can't pretend to be a girl online for 12 years like my dumbass did. So I think that's the future. I don't even know what else, because like I don't even know, like, a lot of technology trends today as it goes to social stuff. I don't use social media. I don't want to. I go on there, I want to die. So, I mean, all you guys use Discord and shit. No, thank you. Or TikTok. I've never even been on TikTok. I don't want to go on there. I like trying to be happy as much as I can. So, I don't know what else. I just think it's completely hopeless for men. It's only going to get worse. Eventually, all your presidents are going to be like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilyar, whatever the fuck her name is. Like, that's going to be all the women in charge, and they're going to just openly hate men, and that is just going to continue and continue, and I don't see it changing. So, yeah. I don't know. In 20 years, I'm going to be dead anyway, so who cares? And I just collect neat bucks. That's not going to change either. So, what do I care? It's all you young boys out there. You're the ones that are fucked. Good luck, boyos.